Wednesday morning. It's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world. Of course, we're getting some more information, although there's still a lot of question marks around the Iran and the U.S. kind of agreement coming up here that's supposed to be signed on Friday. Give you a little bit of what's leaking out there that kind of affect the business world. We have a couple reports out. We're waiting for the Fed decision today, coming out later on today as well. We have some updates on that, at least what the markets and what people are expecting, a little bit more numbers here today as well. Of course, we look at the market watch stocks we're paying attention to, local and national stories you need to know as well, and two food stories today. One, what is the best fast food restaurant out there? Well, it's not who it's been the last 11 years. That'll be up at the end of this first segment. Then later on, McDonald's is bringing something back that I'm not going to lie to you. Just take my money. Tell you about that coming up here also at the end of the show. So stay with us. Let's get it started with that market watch. And overall, a good day here this morning. Oil is going up just a tad today. Of course, today the G7 summit's going on over there in France. Trump did say this morning he will go right back to dropping bombs, was his phrase, if he doesn't like Iran's deal when the final words are done. So oil is slightly ticking higher today. Nothing major to worry about as it's getting down into the 70s here. We're getting back down to the pre-war levels, at least at that point. Traders are awaiting the Fed decision, and you can see the markets are just kind of there today as everybody's waiting. We got a couple hours away from that Fed decision being official. More importantly, the wording from the Fed decision. We'll talk about that in the story coming up in a minute. But the Dow Jones is up 211 points right now, 52,215. The S&P 500, well, it's basically even, zero point 0.7, zero point 0.10 up now, 7509 for the S&P 500. The Nasdaq's down 46 points today. Those chip stocks continue to be volatile. Yesterday there was a sell-off on the chip stocks. Today a little bit of a rebound, but the Nasdaq's still down 44 points here today. And then you've got, of course, the Russell 2K, that small cap index, 13 points up right now, 2962. Bitcoin, well, still stuck in that 65,000 level here, 65,139. And I've been reading about this, and it seems a lot of people took their money out of the Bitcoins, out of the cryptocurrencies. A lot of people put them into more mainstream like Robinhood, and those types of stocks around cryptocurrencies. But a lot of people also took that money and moved it over into SpaceX with that IPO. So Bitcoin right now is 65,184. Why it's kind of just hanging out in this level as people have put their money into other areas. Not just people, but those big conglomerates putting that money into other areas out there. Stocks that we're paying attention to right now. Well, we're going to look at CarMax here today. We told you about Carvana kind of making those moves for dealerships out there to kind of compete with CarMax. Well, CarMax came out this morning and they're down 5.24% right now, but they delivered an earnings and revenue beat in its first quarter financial report. They reported earnings of $1.31 per share. Expectation was only 95 cents per share for CarMax. They were up at the end of yesterday. Then pre-market this morning, they were up 3.5%. But the market's open and CarMax is down 5.43% here this morning, even though a huge revenue beat for CarMax as well. AST Space Mobile is the next one we're going to look at. They stocks up today, 3.84%. They did something successful yesterday. Well, they announced they successfully launched into orbit 3 new satellites yesterday. It'll continue to build its cellular broadband network in space with those 3 satellites. What's interesting about this is 3.88% up on that successful launch. Well, who launched it? Falcon 9 rocket from SpaceX, which will be our third stock we're looking at here today. Third, basically, it's fourth day here. Or excuse me, today's Wednesday, so third full day starting today. Of course, half day on Friday as well. Well, SpaceX continues its rise here after no down day for SpaceX, even though big sell off this morning, if you can see the graph. It's big down here today, but 0.60% up right now for SpaceX. They were Falcon 9, which is a SpaceX rocket, was used for that launch of AST Space Mobile. So that means SpaceX, obviously, some success there as well. They're up a little bit today, even though they were up about 3% when the market opened, 0.31%. Obviously, they're going to have a down day at some point here with what they've sold to get up to this since they've been on the market. Will today be the day that SpaceX turns? Will kind of be the question. Stocks we're paying attention to when we come back later on. Well, Lazy Boy, everybody's favorite recliner out there. Lionsgate Studios, a lot of talk about mergers in this field. Warner Brothers Discovery, obviously, with Paramount Skydance. We'll talk about Lionsgate Studios and then Oracle in the news as well. Some bad news, but I think it's being projected a little bit worse. So we'll look at Oracle and tell you what's going on with them coming up as well. But first, in this Iran to US deal, we'll go to the other side of the world here. And now here's the big question. A lot of uncertainty about what is exactly in this deal that's supposed to be signed coming up on Friday. But we do know some rumors out there, and how it affects business is what we're paying attention to. Reportedly, Iran will immediately take steps to reopen the Strait of Hormuz once this deal is signed to end the war on Friday. No restrictions on Iran selling its oil also to the world. So just let it go, fill your ships up, and send it out and sell it. Now, these are all according to leaked copies of the interim agreement that will, of course, be signed here coming up on Friday as well. Over in what's being signed in Switzerland. So now the other things on it that people are paying attention to, Iran will receive at least $300 billion to rebuild after the war. And it says the U.S. would work to end all American and United Nations sanctions imposed on Tehran as well. So now that's all going to be coming to them if a final agreement addressing their Iran nuclear program is reached. So that's where nothing will be given to them other than selling the oil if they do that. Now, why is this a business story on the 300 million side? Well, obviously, the idea is Tehran gets this money, and it'll be from their partners over there, from what we've read so far, the surrounding countries, is if they're working with people there and getting business, it's hard to attack your business partners out there. So that's kind of the idea behind that. But reportedly, Strait of Hormuz and Iran flooding the market with their oil again coming up here, obviously, drive those energy prices down. Now we'll have to see because it's being tightly wrapped here on what's exactly in this agreement coming up on Friday as well. Back here in the United States, we did get our retail reporting late yesterday, and shoppers, you are still spending in May. You've surpassed the expectations. Of course, temperatures are rising, people out of school, gasoline prices are coming down here over the last couple weeks. So much so, retail sales actually rose 0.9% as a total, up from a revised 0.4% gain back in April. We get this data, of course, from the Commerce Department. Sales got a boost from the generous government tax refunds in both April and May. Economists say that cash cushion, well, that's starting to go away. We've talked about that in the past. People got bigger rebates, which means they were putting it in the market. It's kind of what kept us afloat here for a couple months, but that buffer is it's not only just starting to fade, it's going away at this point as we are into June, which means people have spent all that money. If you want to exclude sales at gas stations, which is obviously very volatile and high right now, retail sales in May rose 0.7%. What categories rose? Clothing, accessory, and furniture stores all posted increases. Since April. Online sales rose 1.5% since April as well. Electronics and appliance stores, department stores, well, they all had slight declines in this retail reporting as well. The data released yesterday, well, it offers a snapshot of consumer spending. Now, keep in mind, this is the report that does not include things like travel, hotel stays. The only services category that's in this reporting is restaurants. And restaurants did actually have a 0.1% decline in May over April's numbers as well. So retail sales still reportedly strong. And obviously, that report came out yesterday right in the middle of the Fed meeting, on top of all the data points that they are looking at. And then we're finding out this morning that total mortgage application volume did fall 3.8% last week. That was compared, obviously, to the previous week. We get these numbers every week from the Mortgage Bankers Association. The average contract interest rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage, now this is with the conforming loan balances. The anything 832,000 or less, well that mortgage rate remained unchanged at 6.60%. The points did remain unchanged from 0.63, including the origination fee. These are all with loans with a 20% down payment for the comparison here. That's what they normally look at. So it's still up there in that 6.60%, although unchanged for this week. Applications to refinance a home did drop 5% for the week. They were 17% higher than the same week just a year ago. Last year at the time, mortgage rates were nearly a quarter of a percentage point higher at the same exact time. Now, applications for a mortgage to purchase a home, they actually fell 3% for the week, but they're also 3% higher than the same week 1 year ago. Obviously, if the interest rates are quarter point lower than a year ago, 3% higher in investing, even though it is still a low number. Home buyers are still dealing with not just the high interest rates, but lean supply, high prices, continued uncertainty over economy and inflation, all affecting this housing market. Interesting enough, we've already seen interest rates go down a little bit. Well, it's basically remained unchanged over the last week, I should say, but they are moving a little bit lower this week as well, according to a survey from Mortgage News Daily. As we're sitting here on Wednesday, so the lowest level since May 14th is what mortgage rates are right now as well. So what's happening? Treasury yields and the mortgage rates, they're mirroring the fall of oil prices, with everybody reacting to the potential end of that war in Iran. So as oil prices go down, we've seen that with the reportings. Oil prices kind of right now, energy prices controlling this market. And we're seeing that move here as well. So as farther oil goes, hopefully mortgages go down. And then we just need inventory to pick up. On a side note, I did see the government right now, or the Senate, I believe it is, are looking at ways to stop large investors from buying homes. They're going to limit how many homes a large investment company can own, which of course help supply out there. So that's now kind of becoming a thing over in Congress as well. And I saw that blurb pop up this morning on the hot stories sheet that I get. And now the Federal Reserve, they're meeting right now. They're expected to hold interest rates steady later today at the end of the first meeting, chaired by their new chairman, Kevin Warsh. Now, the new policy statement and economic projections, that's going to be the most watched thing today. And we're expecting them to basically reflect growing concern about the inflation that is happening out there. Even though oil prices have been sliding the last few days, and in the last week or so, they've been going down slightly, and then big downs this week. A lot of question marks on that 4.2% interest rate we saw on the producer side and 3.8 on the consumer side with those reporting. Now, with the data we just talked to you about on the US, on the spending, consumer spending, but there's strong US hiring data as well. A relatively low 4.3% unemployment rate out there. All showing these mixed signals on the market. We talk about that a lot here on the program. They do expect the Fed to remove language from its policy statement about, quote, additional adjustments, unquote. That's been in the language they have used. So what they're saying here is that that line has been used to indicate likely further decreases in borrowing costs. They're expecting that to be removed here. And what they're expecting is with the strong retail sales, the strong jobs reporting, the strong employment data, the low unemployment rate, they're expecting that to be removed. And we're not going to know what the market, what the Fed is thinking in terms of cuts or increases coming up later on. That's kind of the expectation out of the meeting. The Fed's rate decision, policy adjustment, and updated policymaker projections. Well, 2 p.m. Eastern time is when that'll be out today. About 11 o'clock is when we'll know for sure. Warsh, who, of course, this is his first meeting and as chairman, we'll find out what his language is when he talks. Of course, replacing federal chairman, the previous one, Jerome Powell, last month. He's going to hold his press conference half an hour after the reporting comes out, which means he's keeping for now the schedule adopted by Jerome Powell moving forward. So we'll see what it does with the market. I don't think we're going to get any surprises. Hey, but we'll have to, of course, wait and see what's coming up. And folks, got some bad news for you out there. Well, not really bad news, but it's food related. And for the first time in more than a decade, about 11 years, folks, Chick fil A is no longer the top rated quick service restaurant in America. Been surpassed. And I'm more insulted by who they've been surpassed by, personally. You might feel different, but the American Customer Satisfaction Index, ACSI, it rates eateries based on thousands of customer surveys, recent experiences, with the major change is kind of what they rate on. And 16,464 respondents. Well, Chick fil A no longer in the lead here, and it's held an 11-year run as well, as I told you. Who won? Who's second? Who took over? I should say from Chick Fil A. Yeah, Jersey Mike's, the sandwich shop. Really? That's what does it? Well, Jersey Mike's was commended for its freshness, fruit variety, and even its value. I have to check it out because I'm not a big sub fan, but every once in a while you want one, and Subway's just not it anymore. So if Jersey Mike's got an ACSI rating of 84 out of 100, they just barely edged out Chick fil A by 1 point as well. So they added 238 net new locations in 2025, Jersey Mike's did, and they cleared $4.2 billion in sales. So here's where we stand now. So Jersey Mike's is number one. Chick fil A is second on this list, just 1 point apart. Then a couple parts a little farther down, you got Jimmy John's. Panda Express is next on the list. KFC, Papa John's, Pizza Hut. Yeah, they pizza just sold off because Pepsi. I've read some PepsiCo or excuse me, some Yum brand stuff on Pizza Hut on why they needed to unload it. It's like couldn't work with it, really? Domino's, by the way, is next up. Then you got Raising Cane's, Starbucks, Subway, Burger King, and then Culver's, Dunkin', Little Caesars, rounding out the top 10 there as well. Or was that top 15, if my math's correct? So those are your favorites. Interesting enough here, they do go into other things, but obviously, I gave you the top 15, but the top five chicken spots, if you like chicken, Chick-fil-A, KFC, Raising Cane's, Wingstop, and then Popeyes on that list. Top four sandwich spots, obviously Jersey Mike's number one, Jimmy John's second, then Subway is third, Arby's is fourth, which is weird, right? Because Arby's, do they belong in that category? They're just, which one's not like the others? Top for Pizza Hut, pizza spots. We just listed them for you, but Papa John's, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Little Caesars coming in fourth. In terms of burgers, this is shocking to me. Burger King number one, Culver's two, Sonic third. You got Wendy's and Five Guys rounding out that list there. And notice what's not on there? McDonald's. Kind of shocking. Now, Texas Roadhouse and Longhorn Steakhouse, they tied for the top sit down spots. They both had ACSI scores of 82. Now, they both included a 1 to 2 percentage point decrease for both of those companies, but they're still number one and two. Then you got third place, Olive Garden. Hey, when you're here, your family. They were at 81. And then after that, everything dropped into the high 70s. Big drop off. Applebee's, Chili's, Cracker Barrel, all in those high 70s as well. Now, interesting enough, they did some other testing on reliability of mobile apps. How much downtimes, crashes, lags, didn't work right. Well, actually, mobile apps saw significant gains for everybody out there. In 2026, customer satisfaction with mobile apps, they went up from 12%, went up about 12%, I should say. It went from 78 to 87. And website and mobile app quality satisfaction both went up by 4%. So these places are getting better with their apps and their, of course, online ordering processes, which a lot of people do as well. So who are the top 15 full service restaurant chains? We told you Longhorn and Texas Roadhouse tied at 82 on their score. Then Olive Garden at 81. Applebee's had that 79, Chili's 79, and then Cracker Barrel 79 as well. Applebee's has no business being in that level of the list there, to be honest with you. Golden Corral, old big staple around these parts when I was a kid, 79 for them. Outback Steakhouse, 79. Cheesecake Factory had that 79 listing as well. Then you get into Buffalo Wild Wings, Red Lobster there with a rating of 78, along with Red Robin. Yum. Denny's, which I was stepped into a Denny's earlier this week or end of last week for the first time in a while. Good. It was good. 77 for them. Then IHOP has a 76 rating. And then First Watch, that breakfast and lunch place at 72 for sit down restaurants out there. So there you go. You eat at these restaurants you haven't been to a while. So I'm going to have to try Jersey Mike's. I know I'm not a Jimmy John's fan. I just ate Jimmy John's a lot when I was in the corporate world. Everybody just, oh, what sandwiches do you want? It was all right. I have to try Jersey Mike's if it's fresh. My problem with like Subway is when they went private equity, the freshness went away. All recycled, yucky lettuce, yucky tomatoes, etc. Maybe I'll have to go try a Jersey Mike's when I get that craving for a sub as well out there. So, do you agree with those ratings? Like I said, my biggest one is Applebee's. Does not belong on that list at all. Let's see. The Kobe chimes in and says KFC over Bojangles. What? That's the other side. I don't think Bojangles is a big enough chain to compete with those bigger guys out there as well, right? Because you got size issues here and things you got to worry about out there. But I agree, Bojangles got to pay attention to that. As we have one at least one of those here in the valley now, I believe. It's now opened up. But when we come back here on McCollum on Business, don't forget McDonald's is bringing something back. They're not on that list. They're bringing something back though that just take my money. I've got to go check this out. My mouth is burning right now just thinking about biting into it. I'll tell you about that coming up. But first, we got some local stories, some SRP announcements, with some battery stuff coming up their way, and there's some other stuff out there. Oh, Autumn says Jersey Mike's has drive-thrus too. That's even better. So I don't have to go stand in line inside. I'm gonna have to try them out. I've been hankering for a sub lately. I'm just refused to go to Subway. I think it's turned gross on. Maybe I'll have to try Jersey Mike's. But wait till you hear this story later on McDonald's. Coming back. Come on back. It's McCollum on Business, Wednesday edition. We're back here, McCollum on Business. Appreciate you joining us here on this Wednesday morning. Of course, live 7 a.m. on the YouTube channel, TME Media AZ is where we're broadcasting live now at 7 a.m. Of course, you can follow us. Get on our chat there as well on the YouTube channel. Get involved with the show. We see them, we read them. Even if we don't see them on air, we always talk about them out there. Of course, as soon as we're done here, we go right into the main event from 8 to 10 o'clock as well. Me and 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hellestrade gets you updated on the sports world coming up today as well between 8 and 10 live here on YouTube. And then everything is on demand on both YouTube, TME Media AZ, as well as over on Rumble. For those of you that prefer the Rumble platform, rumble.com/user/slash TME Media is where you can find all of our programming on demand over there, including the Pit Stop, which has an episode coming out this week. We have the San Diego race coming up this weekend, the first of its kind there on the Navy base there in Coronado, outside of San Diego, in San Diego on the island there. A big exciting race this weekend. Of course, we look back to Pocono last weekend as well. Look for the pit stop on demand as well. Over there on Rumble and on YouTube. And of course, The Real Matrix, Fridays at noon is where you can catch new episodes of The Real Matrix. Also has its free podcasting system, and The Real Matrix is only over on Rumble right now. And then, of course, free podcasting systems, the only show that is only on Rumble. Everything else is on YouTube and Rumble out there. And, of course, free podcasting system. Just search The Real Matrix, Angry Patriot. And all of our shows, except for this one, does not have a podcast system as of yet there, but Main Event does. The Pit Stop does. Just search the show names, and it pops right up for you on your favorite podcast system as well. And don't forget, of course, everything on demand as soon as we're done here and not live as well. So if you can't see us live, on demand, share us with your friends, like and subscribe to the pages. We'd appreciate it very much. Just helps us get out into the zeitgeist of the internet world as we're building this up into a lot of different entities out there. We just want to be available for everybody on all the shows. We're expanding out on multiple different systems. Some more announcements coming up here as well on where you can listen to us or catch us as well. That hopefully just makes things easier for people to find us out there. And folks, with all that being said, let's get right back into the Market Watch. Everybody's just waiting for the Fed decision today. There's no other way to look at this. And Dow Jones up 249 points right now. The S&P 500's up to 16. The Nasdaq has turned positive for us today, up 67 points for the Nasdaq today. Chip stocks are back on the rebound today after having a sell-off yesterday again. Nasdaq's up that 65 points. The Russell 2K, the small cap index, up 18 points as we're looking at that today as well. Bitcoin 65,132. It's kind of settled nicely here in the mid 65 range, mid 60,000 range this week after last week having a big sell off. And like I said, I was reading earlier, people have moved to Robinhood, into Coinbase, and those types of stocks that are more broadly based around cryptocurrencies. But a lot of institutional investors and a lot of retail people have taken their money out of the cryptocurrencies, moved them to SpaceX out there with that coming up. And of course, we talked about SpaceX earlier as well. And with that being said, stocks we're paying attention to right now. Well, let's go with everybody's favorite recliner company, Lazy Boy. They're up big today, 22.13%. They reported retail sales um, rose 11%. Their retail sales did in its fiscal fourth quarter compared to the year prior. Lazy Boy also delivered an earnings beat and revenues about in line with the estimates out there. So Lazy Boy, and we told you in the retail sales report, furniture sales are up last month as well. So Lazy Boy, now this is bigger than a month. This is their fiscal fourth quarter, so 3 months. But Lazy Boy having some good sales out there as well. And their stock's up 22.13% here today. And then let's go to the entertainment world and Lionsgate Studios. Yeah, their media company down 6.66% right now. Well, they're down because Netflix came out and denied the reports that it was interested in acquiring Lionsgate. Well, the stock yesterday, as the day went on, this was one of those stocks to pay attention to in the middle of the day. The stock rose about 14% yesterday among those potential merger reports. And then Netflix came out and dashed it. Nope, we're not interested. 6.66% down with the dashing of hopes there from that Netflix as well. Then Oracle's in the news as well today. Obviously, Oracle software company, hardware company. Well, they said details in a Business Insider report. Um, well, let me put it this way: the Business Insider report, Business Insider came out with a report. Let me rephrase this so it makes sense to everybody. They said Microsoft ended negotiations over a $3 billion deal to lease the company's cloud infrastructure over security concerns. That's what the Business Insider report said. Oracle came out and said those details in that report are inaccurate because it basically implied Microsoft wants nothing to do with Oracle. Well, Oracle did come out and they maintain that Microsoft is still a partner with Oracle and also still a customer of Oracle as well. And those that reporting had a lot of inaccuracies in it. Well, Oracle today is up 0.14% based off of that news here as well. They were down in pre-market. They were down late yesterday, down in pre-market today. They are 0.03% up right now, but they are denying those reporting and saying Microsoft is still involved with them in multiple capacities as well. So Oracle fighting some, both interesting. Our last two stocks, Lion Gates and Oracle, fighting some rumors and headwinds out there, trying to get around that negative reporting on both of those companies. If you consider Netflix not buying them, a negative reporting out there. And folks, let's get into a couple local stocks before we get into the story. I can't wait to tell you about. Mm-mm-mm. I can I can feel the hot lava going down my throat right now. That sounds weird. Tell River Project has announced it will be building a new battery storage site coming up in eastern Arizona. The SRP says it will have new tech capable of lasting for twice as long as traditional utility batteries. And it's all because the new batteries will use carbon dioxide in them now. The CO2 is stored as a liquid, but when the energy is needed, it's heated into a gas and then it drives the turbines in these batteries. So these batteries will be able to power more than 4,200 homes for over 10 hours. Traditional lithium ion batteries tend to cap out at about 4 hours. And so more than doubling that time frame. The time constraint is often cited as one of the major limitations for renewable energy sources like solar, because obviously solar can't provide energy overnight when the sun's not up. So everything gets stored into the batteries during the day. You deplete those batteries during the night. And if you're only getting 4 hours of use, obviously it's not enough time with the nighttime. So 10 hours gives you more time there as well. Now, this project does come through a partnership with Google, SRP says. The plant is expected to be operational in 2029 as they just announced they're getting ready to build it, but new technology coming to those batteries as well. And we know SRP is doing a ton of battery implications for storing that and using those energies specifically for data centers, but other uses as well out there. And now let's go to the Arizona Court of Appeals. Speaking of solar, well, it's a unanimous ruling from them as well, the Arizona Court of Appeals. They overturned a controversial fee that APS, Arizona Public Service customers, have that have solar panels on their homes. So when the Arizona Corporation Commission approved the APS rate hike back in 2024, it also allowed the utility to charge solar customers an extra $2 to $3 per month to cover what APS had said extra costs to incur to provide power to those residents if their panels fail or don't generate enough electricity. Well, a three-judge Arizona Court of Appeals panel found that regulators didn't give opponents the opportunity to argue against that fee. APS never provided evidence that solar customers are responsible for increased costs. And the appeals court also concluded that APS never technically asked for the rate increase in the first place. You have to announce it, there has to be public discussions. That's the third thing there as well. They say APS had sought an across the board rate increase for all customers and then they didn't get into that specific solar one. Here's the quote. The public notice said nothing, in other words, about a rate increase that would apply to only to solar residential customers. That's what the court said in their ruling. The Arizona Corporation Commission approved it anyway after an administrative law judge overseeing the rate case did back the fee at the time, relying on testimony from APS officials who testified that the utility faces extra costs to provide backup power to solar customers. Of course, that violates the due process rights of solar advocacy groups and customers opposed to the change. Well, why? Well, they weren't informed the new solar fee was on the table, and so nobody was given a fair opportunity to state their case. Appeals court agreed with that lawsuit on it. Fee is gone now. And just another example, if you need one, on how the Corporation Commission with APS and Tucson Electric, they're just being skitsy with their 14% rate increases for data. Data centers aren't causing this. Folks, this is another example of, I'll just say it, they're lying to us though. They're doing shady things to get more money out of your pockets while they make millions of dollars in generating electricity out there. And it's just another example of the unscrupulous nature of these power companies and the Arizona Corporation Commission around these energy companies as well out there. Now, folks, stop what you're doing. If you're driving, I apologize. Pull over if you need to. Pay attention to what we're about to talk about because I'm excited for this. All due to America's 250th birthday, McDonald's is finally doing something I can give you. Yeah, apple pies are coming back. The fried apple pies are coming back, folks. Oh, remember how hot that was? You bite into that apple concoction in the middle, would just burn your mouth. Oh, you'd feel it just going down your whole in the insides. Oh, it's amazing. Can't wait. McDonald's said yesterday it's bringing back fried apple pies. Now, the fried one, not the baked ones they went to. For the first time in more than 3 decades, they're back. They'll be available in most U.S. restaurants for a limited time starting June 23rd. Get in line for that. McDonald's is, of course, one of several fast food companies offering 250-year American, anniversary treats. Burger King recently debuted the Firecracker Cookie Pie. It has a sugar cookie crust and red, white, and blue star-shaped sprinkled. Sonics, well, they have a red, white, and blue slush float for $2.50. Hardee's, well, they have an ice star spangled biscuit and red and blue sprinkles for it. So now, here's some info that you needed to know this morning on McDonald's fried apple pies. Ready for these numbers? Robert says they're drawing me back to Mickey D's. No, seriously. Me and Ethan stopped at McDonald's early or end of last week, I think it was. For the first, I hadn't been to McDonald's for breakfast in a month or so. We decided it was like a month and a half or so because of the app. Same old McDonald's, same not very good McDonald's. I agree with you, Robert. They're drawing me back with this. I'm just gonna pull up and be like, apple pie, please. So here's some numbers you need to know. You're gonna look smart at the office today, folks. McDonald's introduced both its fried apple pie and the Big Mac hamburger back in 1968. McDonald's franchisees in Tennessee developed the rectangle-shaped pie. It was served in a cardboard sleeve back then as well. 1968 was a momentous year that included the assassinations of Martin Luther King and Robert F. Kennedy. Yeah, and protests against the Vietnam War, the federal law prohibiting housing discrimination, and apple pie and Big Mac from McDonald's, all in 1968. What a year. What a year it was. In 1992, McDonald's replaced the fried apple pie with the baked version in most U.S., all because of growing consumer awareness of fat and cholesterol consumption. That's all right. I'll risk my coronary and heart attack. Just give me the fried one. The U.S. Department of Agriculture first published its food guide pyramid that same year. Fried apple pie remained on McDonald's menu. In Hawaii, it's still sold in some other countries out there, even though they moved to the baked one as well. By the way, United Kingdom, Mexico, Greece, Australia, and China still have the fried apple pies to this day. The calories on a McDonald's baked apple pie is 230. This is what's interesting. That's 10 more calories than the fried version has. Yeah. Yeah. There's no health benefit to going to the baked one. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get why we have to change it. Give us it back, which we're getting. Limited time, they say. So, there's a Facebook group out there called Bring Back the Original McDonald's Fried Apple Pie. 130 members are of that Facebook group. Well, they're about to have 131 when I get done with this show today. Just kidding. I'm not going to. By the way, there are 1,100 members lobbying McDonald's to bring back the McRib Facebook group. 928 members of the McDonald's bring back the Szechuan sauce Facebook group as well. So the apple pie group, lacking in its stature. Number of American-grown apples that McDonald's says it serves every year at its U.S. stores: 170 million apples. Yes. Here's the best part: if you're in Illinois this summer, Juliet, Joliet, Illinois, outside of Chicago, they're putting up a giant fried apple pie. McDonald's is installing this on Route 66 there in Joliet. It's going to be 35 feet high, folks. It's going to be right there by McDonald's Chicago headquarters. Yes, that's 35 feet is about a three-story house size. Yeah, giant palm trees out there. The giant apple pie will stay in place until July 4th, the company said. So if you're out there the next few weeks, check it out as well. And Autumn says, and she's right on this, calories don't count when it's America's 250th. Absolutely. We have to wait till June 23rd, so what, another week or so? And I swear, if I start seeing signs that say we have run out of apple pies, you might you might see me on the news. I'm just stopping and getting them, folks. And they better be scorching hot when I get them too. None of this, none of this nonsense of it being cool. No, 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 no. It needs to burn like it used to. Hey, folks, got y'all excited for that. Let's go. McDonald's also hit up Chick-fil-A. I'm gonna hit up Jersey Mike's later. Let's see if we can try that out as well. But folks, appreciate you joining me here on this Wednesday edition. The main event coming up next, of course, live here on YouTube as well. Come and join us. Appreciate it very much. Join us on the comments there. Of course, we have the text line 623-252-6670. All of the fun stuff out there as well. So come and join us. Everything on demand on YouTube and over on Rumble as well. Well, we'll see you there, folks. And we'll see you on the main event here coming up in just a few. Have a great Wednesday afternoon.